Have you ever wondered how far you could go if the world was against you? Imagine growing up without the warm embrace of a loving family, without the comforting lullaby of a mother's voice, without the guiding hand of a father. Imagine being thrust into a world that seems to be designed to break your spirit, a world where your existence feels like a mere footnote in an otherwise indifferent narrative. Our protagonist, a young boy, knows this reality all too well. His cradle was not one of love and affection, but rather a foster home, a place that was supposed to be his haven, his sanctuary from the harsh realities of life. But instead, it became a battleground, a place where he had to fight for his survival against the very people meant to protect him, his parents. Parents, they are supposed to be the pillars of support, the providers of unconditional love, the creators of a nurturing environment. But for our young hero, they were anything but. His parents, trapped in the vicious cycle of drug addiction, became his tormentors, his oppressors. They would misuse him, beat him, and rob him of his innocence. But what if amidst the darkness a glimmer of hope appears? Picture a classroom just like any other. The hum of learning is in the air. Among the faces, one stands out. A teacher who is not just a dispenser of knowledge but a beacon of hope. This teacher sees not just a child, but a reservoir of untapped potential. A diamond in the rough. Enter our protagonist, a young boy weathered by life's harsh storms far too early. He carries a burden, a cloud of skepticism, built from years of being told he could never amount to anything. He's a boat adrift in life's turbulent sea, without a compass, without a destination. But this teacher, this beacon of hope, sees something different. She sees beyond the rough exterior, beyond the hardened shell. She sees the spark within, the potential for greatness. She sees not a broken child but a future leader, a beacon for others. Our young hero, however, is skeptical. Can he trust this teacher, this stranger who claims to see something in him that no one else does? He's been let down before, promises made and broken, trust betrayed. It's easier to keep his guard up, to expect disappointment than to open his heart to the possibility of hope. But this teacher is persistent. She doesn't give up on him. She sees his skepticism, his reluctance, and she meets it with unwavering belief. Every day she shows up for him. She encourages him, guides him, and inspires him. She sees his potential and she refuses to let it go to waste. Slowly the walls start to crumble. The skepticism begins to fade, replaced with a glimmer of trust, a flicker of hope. He starts to believe not just in her but in himself. He begins to see what she sees, the potential within him. And so a bond is formed, built on trust and the promise of a brighter future. A bond that would be the catalyst for a transformation, a journey from darkness into light, from despair into hope, from a life destined for failure to a story of unimaginable success. Can a single person change your life's trajectory? Imagine being a seed, planted in rocky soil, starved of light and rain, struggling to push through the surface. And then, someone comes along who nourishes you, waters you, and encourages you to reach for the sun. That's what a mentor does. They see the potential within you when no one else does, and they work tirelessly to help you realize it. Our protagonist was that seed. His life was the rocky soil, filled with obstacles that hindered his growth. But then, along came a teacher who saw the potential within him. This wasn't just any teacher. This was a mentor, a guide, an inspiration. This teacher saw in him not just a troubled kid from a broken home, but a young mind thirsty for knowledge, a heart yearning for guidance, and a soul brimming with untapped potential. The role of this teacher went beyond the classroom. He motivated our protagonist, pushing him to strive for more, to dream bigger, to reach higher. He instilled in him the belief that he could conquer his circumstances, that he was not defined by his past, but by his potential. He was not just teaching him academics, but life skills. He was teaching him resilience, determination, and the power of self-belief. The influence of this teacher was transformative. His wisdom and knowledge became the protagonist's armor against the world, his guiding light in the darkest of times. He learned to see himself not through the lens of his past, but through the lens of his possibilities. He began to envision a future where he was not just surviving, but thriving. Every word of encouragement, every nugget of wisdom, every moment spent in mentorship was a brick in the foundation of the protagonist's future. The teacher's faith was not just a belief in his potential, it was a lifeline pulling him out of the darkness and into the light. Sometimes all it takes is one person to believe in you, one person to guide you, inspire you, and show you that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. That's the power of mentorship. The teacher's faith was a beacon, guiding him toward a path he had never dared to dream of. What happens when someone believes in you more than you believe in yourself? Imagine a young sapling, frail and weak, growing in the shadow of towering trees. It's struggling, yearning for a glimpse of sunlight, for a chance to thrive. Then, one day, a gardener comes along. He sees the potential in that tiny sapling, nurtures it, shields it from harsh winds, and ensures it gets its share of sunlight. That's exactly what happened to our protagonist. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, a transformation began to occur. The young boy, once a lost soul, started to bloom under the guidance of his mentor. The teacher's faith in him acted like a mirror, reflecting his own potential back at him. He began to see himself not as a victim of his circumstances but as a fighter, a survivor. His newfound confidence was like a spark that ignited a fire within him, a fire that burned away his self-doubt, his fears, his inhibitions. He started to defy the odds, to challenge the naysayers, to rise above the expectations of those who had written him off. He became a beacon of hope for others like him, proving that one's past does not dictate one's future. His transformation was not an overnight miracle. It was a gradual process, a journey filled with stumbling blocks and hurdles. But he faced each challenge with determination, fueled by the wisdom and knowledge passed on to him by his mentor. His transformation was not just about overcoming adversity, it was about redefining his identity, about breaking the chains that bound him to his past. He was not just surviving anymore, he was thriving. He was no longer the young boy struggling in the shadows, he was the sapling that had grown into a resilient tree, standing tall against the odds. His journey was a testament to the power of belief, the power of mentorship, the power of transformation. With each passing day he was becoming more than a survivor, he was becoming a success. Can a child of adversity rise to success? This question was answered in the most breathtaking way as our protagonist rewrote his life's narrative. From a child written off by society, from a life steeped in struggle, he emerged into a world where he was not just surviving, but thriving. The road was far from easy. Each step towards his dreams was like wading through a storm, battling winds of doubt and rains of despair. But he held on to his mentor's words, using them as his compass, guiding him through the tempest. The teacher's wisdom became his shield, his motivation a spear, cutting through the thorny paths of life. He faced obstacles, of course. The world is not kind to those who dare to dream, especially those who dare to dream big. But with every setback, he discovered a reserve of resilience within himself that even he didn't know existed. Each failure, each disappointment hardened his resolve, fueled his determination. He was no longer the same boy who believed he was destined for nothingness. He was a man on a mission, a force to be reckoned with. His journey to success was not a lonely one. His mentor was with him every step of the way, a constant source of inspiration. The teacher saw in him what others failed to see, a spark, a potential, a promise of greatness. He fed that spark, nurtured it, until it became a roaring flame. A flame that illuminated the path for others to follow, that warmed the hearts of those who had lost hope. And so, he rose. From the ashes of his past, he soared to the heights of success. He became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of belief and determination. His story became a beacon, shining brightly for others navigating the stormy seas of life. He was living proof that the circumstances of one's birth do not define one's future. He had defied the odds, he had silenced the naysayers, he had become a beacon of hope for others. The boy who was told he would be nothing had become everything he dreamed of, and so much more. What can we learn from this story of triumph over adversity? This is not just a tale of overcoming the odds. It's a testament to the transformative power of belief. In a world that too often tells us we are not enough, that our circumstances define our destiny, this story tells us something different. It tells us that we are not bound by what others perceive us to be, nor by the negative echoes of our past. Instead, we are the architects of our own fate, the sculptors of our own character. Our protagonist, a young child who grew up in the shadow of addiction and abuse, was told he would amount to nothing, but he defied those prophecies with a fierce determination, fueled by the belief instilled in him by a singular mentor. This teacher saw potential in him that others couldn't, and it was this belief that sparked a transformation. The mentor's faith ignited a spark of hope, a beacon in the dark world of the child's existence. This teacher didn't just impart knowledge, he shared wisdom, he nurtured self-belief, he provided the tools to carve a path out of adversity. Overcoming adversity is not about being untouched by hardship, It is about rising above it, learning from it, and using it as a stepping stone toward success. It's about understanding that life's trials and tribulations are not meant to break us, but to shape us, to make us stronger, to guide us towards our true potential. Belief is potent. It's the cornerstone of transformation. It's the fuel that drives us to challenge the status quo, to defy the odds, to rise from the ashes of despair, and to reach for the stars. The journey of life is filled with adversity, but with belief and the right guidance, we can rise above and reach heights beyond our imagination. So let's harness the power of belief, let's embrace the challenges, and let's write our own success story, because in the end, it's not about where we start, but where we finish. So, what's your story? Each of us is a unique tapestry, intricately woven with threads of triumphs, trials, mentors, and moments that define us. It's time to reflect on your own journey. Who were the guiding stars that helped you navigate the stormy seas? To whom do you owe your resilience, your strength, your sense of self? Look back on those adversities you faced, those towering walls you thought impossible to scale. Remember how you felt when you reached the top, when you proved to yourself and the world that you could overcome. That's the power of belief, the power of mentorship. Now look ahead. Realize that your potential is boundless, that you are capable of more than you can possibly imagine. Seek out those mentors who will inspire and guide you. Embrace the challenges that come your way. Remember, even in the darkest times, belief can ignite the spark to illuminate your path. So dare to believe, dare to dream, and dare to rise above.